Hello all. It is becoming increasingly clear that I should be doing these at home because I have all of these people around after school. They are going to be starring in this video, but try to pay attention to me. Okay. We have 3 problems today. 7A and 7C did all 3 of them. 7B did not, but I told them that I would have my worked solution for it so they could look at that as an example. Our major focus today is nothing new when it comes to solving. The new thing is how can we notate so that we know really clearly what it is that you're doing as you're solving an algebraic problem. So for our first problem, we're going back to a context problem. Word problem, go to the blueprint if you want to read it and kind of process it a little bit more. So, on Saturday, Desmond babysat for 5 hours and then spent $12 on a new comic. On Sunday, Desmond babysat for 2 hours and also found $15 lying in the street. His babysitting rate was the same both days, and he ended up with the same amount of money at the end of each day. How much does he charge per hour? So we know this is a balanced situation because of the information that he made the same amount of money each day. And we know that the unknown that we're trying to figure out is his hourly rate. We have some idea about how many hours he did, but we don't know how much he made each time. So I'm going to set up my balance, and I'm just going to get some of the basic information on. Like, we have Saturday and we have Sunday. So he babysat for 5 hours, but I don't know how much he made each time. So I can think of that as bags. I've got 5 bags, but I don't know how much is in each. And since we're talking hours, I think it was in 7B, they decided to call that H for hours. I'm going to put in my 5 H's. Spent $12. He no longer has that money. So that would be a minus term here. That would be something that's being removed in this situation. So I'm going to draw myself a balloon, like we started talking about in the last video, and that's going to be my minus 12. There's no variable involved because I know 12 is what he's spent. Then on the other side, on Sunday, he babysat for 2 hours, so I have 2 H's. And then he found $15, that's free money. That's stuff he didn't have before, so we're going to put that as a weight. And we know that these 2 quantities need to be equal to each other. Okay, so if I were to keep track of the things that I was doing here, and I'm going to try to write it while I'm also keeping this up. This is very scientific. Looking at this, the first thing I might want to do is get rid of my balloons. So I say, all right, I want to get rid of this minus 12. How can I get to 0 balloons? Well, the additive inverse of negative 12 would be positive 12. And if I add 12 here, I'm going to end up with no balloons at all. Well, to keep things balanced, if I add 12 on this side, I also need to add 12 on this side. So the first thing that's happening is we are adding 12 to both sides. Now I've got all of my money on one side. My hours, though, are still split. Looking at this, I can get rid of all of my H's on this side. If I take 2 H's off, then I need to do the same on the other side to keep it balanced. So step 2 would be minus 2H from both. And then finally, I have 3 hours, and I have $27. How much then would have to be in each hour? I could divide that up into my 3. Each hour would have to be $9. So step 3 would be $27 divided by 3 hours would be $9 for 1 hour. Okay, I want to check that. It would be great to be able to substitute it into an equation, but I don't have one yet. So let's make one. We know it's going to involve an equation, like an equal sign, because we have a balanced relationship, and we know it needs to involve this variable h. So I can just take the information from the balance and write it up here. 5 h's minus 12 is going to be equal to 2 h's plus 15. The only tricky thing here, I think, is that minus term, that balloon. So, plug it back in. 5 times 9, 45, minus 12 would be 33. 2 times 9, 18, plus 15, 33. We have a balanced relationship, so 9 works. So this brings me to the new thing for today, and that's how can you notate this in a way that's a little bit clearer than what's going on here, so that if someone looking at your work was trying to figure out what you were doing, they wouldn't have to backtrack quite as much. we're going to use those 3 steps. That ended up being the ways that we could solve this. And we're going to take it and we're going to show it algebraically. So I've got my equation. The first thing we're going to do is add 12 to both sides. So I'm going to put that under this 12 because I know that that's what I'm trying to cancel out. And then I'm also going to put that under by the 15 because those are the straight up dollars that I'm going to be combining. So minus 12 plus 12 is going to cancel to 0. So now I just have 5h is equal to 2h's plus 27. The second thing that you told me we would need to do is subtract 2h's from both sides. I'm going to put that under my 2h because I know that that's going to need to cancel out. And I'm going to take my 2h's away from here as well. Doesn't do anything to the pennies or the dollars. So now I have 3h is equal to, cancels to 0. 3h is equal to 0 plus 27. And that brings me to my final step, which I think in terms of notating, people had the most difficulty with. If we have 3h equals 27, and we know that we need to get to h equals 9, based off of the balanced solution. We knew that we needed to do 27 divided by 3 to get to 9. Turns out, just like when you're adding and subtracting, you have to do the same thing to both sides. 3 divided by 3 is going to be 1, so you'd have that h equals 9. So that's the algebraic way where I put it all together. You can clearly see a progression going from the original equation down to the solution for h. So, the next 2 problems, we're just practicing applying that to problems with some of the complexities of the previous week. The first one has to do with grouping. So if you have 5 times 2x plus 3 is equal to 3x plus 36, we would start by writing a balance here. And having an understanding of how this grouping works is going to help. So we're going to have 2 x's and a weight of 3, but we're going to do that 5 times. And you can see that that gets really old, writing that many times. So we're going to talk about what we can do instead. And then on the other side, you're going to have just 3 x's and a balance of 36. Like I said, that got really old. So we can think about how we could write that as a new equation. Kind of rewrite that. 5 groups of 2 x's ends up being 10 x's. 5 groups of 3 ends up being 15. So you don't have to write all of that. You could just also write 10x plus 15 is equal to 3x plus 36. So let's see. You could get rid of your x's or your numbers, your constants first. Why don't we do x's? Let's take off 3 x's from both sides. And I can show that by doing minus 3x. Over here, that's going to cancel me out to 0, so I'll just have my 36. And then over here, 10x minus 3x is going to leave me with 7 x's on the balance, as well as 15 spare change. And then I could take away all of my spare change on this side, subtract 15, do the same on the other side. 36 minus 15 is going to leave me with 21, which leaves me 7x equals 21. Now, let's get to 1x, because we just want to know what x equals. Well, 7 divided by 7, that's going to be 1. And we want to get down to 1x. And if I divide by 7 here, I need to do the same on the other side. 21 divided by 7 is going to be 3. And I could check this back into the original equation, plug 3 in for x, and see if that works. And it does. I'm not going to do it because if I spend more than 15 minutes on this video, I have to pay money to upgrade my account, and I'm not going to do that. So, the final one involves both balloons and grouping. 32 minus 2x is equal to 2 times 4x plus 1. So, once more, a balance. We've got a weight of 32, and we've got 2 minus x balloons. And then over here we've got grouping. We have 4 x's and 1 twice. And we could actually just rewrite that as 32 minus 2x is equal to 8 x's plus 2. We're going to see if we can use that then in our algebraic solution. Now I am juggling. Okay, so looking at this, let's get rid of our balloons first. Since I have 2 minus x's, to get rid of one number, I need to use the additive inverse. The additive inverse of minus x would just be plus x. So I'll have an x weight here and an x weight here. That is going to cancel those both out to 0. And if I add 2 x's on this side, I need to add 2 x's on this side as well. So looking at the equation, that would be 32 minus 2x equals 8x plus 2. Now adding 2x to both sides. That's going to cancel out, so I just have 32 is equal to 8 x's plus 2 more x's would give me 10 x's plus 2. Now, I only have 2 constant numbers over here. Let's get rid of those. And if we take 2 off this side, to balance it, we need to take 2 off this side, so we're now at 30. And let's show that. Minus 2, minus 2. That has nothing to do with the bags, so I leave the x's alone. That means I have 30 is equal to 10x, and that cancels out to 0. Now I have 10 bags and 30 pennies. I want to split that into the 10 bags. So I'm going to divide by 10 so that I can figure out what is going to be in 1x. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 30 divided by 10 is 3. Once again, x is going to be equal to 3. And if we were to plug that in, 32 minus 2 times 3, so 32 minus 6 would be 26. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 13 times 2 is 26. So we have 26 is equal to 26. Voila. Okay? So the new information here is around notation. It's around how can you clearly organize your work. I want to see something that looks like this, that shows at any point what are you adding, what are you subtracting, what are you multiplying, what are you dividing, and just do it one step at a time. All right, I would like to introduce you to my rats. Hello. And to the people that tolerate them.
Jalen, you already
hello.
know.
Right. Have a lovely night. Good luck preparing for finals.
Oh, that's why.
That's Miss Wang.
Give it a hug.
Goodbye.
Hi, Miss